Hey everybody. This is Cindy with nevereasyalways.com. Um, and I have been asked to make a video by a youth group that's interested in advocating for those with that are differently have different needs. Um, and so I have not had a whole lot of time this week. It's been really crazy, or the last couple weeks, or the last month. It's just been really crazy around my house. We, as the people who follow me know, I have seven kids that are both biological and adopted. Three are adults and out of the house, and four have been at home. They're 17, 13, 12 and 8, and the 12 and 8-year-old both have Down syndrome. I have recently, though, become a foster and adoptive mom of three more children, ages 7, 6, and 4. The youngest of which has Rett syndrome, which is very new to me. I've had two with Down syndrome. Rett syndrome is relatively rare, a lot less common than Down syndrome is. So, what I've been asked to speak about is how I advocate for my children and what their disabilities are like. So, I have about 10 minutes here to talk, and I'll see what all I can get through. My youngest right now is eating lunch, so hopefully she won't interrupt me. But we are actually on the verge of bringing the kids back home from school to do some more school online here because of the virus that's just seems to be taking off again in our area. So that life again, new kids, Thanksgiving, Christmas just around the corner, and I will have seven kids coming home and at my home every day to do school. So, with that said, let's see if we can dive into this topic of what advocacy means to me and what I do. So, I have a few notes here on my phone, and I hope you don't mind if I'm reading them. Um, anyways, so advocacy number one for me as a mom, and I think most moms out there, is we want the world to see our children, my children, as individuals. All my children, whether they have been diagnosed with some label or not. I want the world to see my children for their potential and for the gifts they've been given, the strengths that they've been given each as individuals. So, one thing that we do, and I want to start this little talk uh, with, and excuse me, I'm just trying to kind of rush through things, is something that's called person first language. And that is where we talk about, or when we refer to a person, we refer to them as a person instead of as their disability. So, for instance, for my 12-year-old daughter, I would say that she is a girl who has Down syndrome. She's not a Down syndrome girl. And for my 4-year-old, she's a girl who has Rett syndrome. So it's always person and then the disability later. So, because that's not what really makes her who she is. Um, Another thing is we don't want you to just believe in the myths and the surface of our children that have that are differently abled, that have different needs than a lot of people out there. So, for instance, with Down syndrome, one thing that people think is that they're always happy and always complacent, and they're not. They're not. Their they have all these same emotions that we have. When they're happy, they're happy. When they're sad, they're sad. When they're angry, they're angry. One thing I will say, though, is that they don't really manipulate with their emotions like a lot of people can do, like we can do, right? They don't. They don't use their sadness to get something that they want. So when they are sad, they're really truly sad. When they're angry, they're very angry, and when they're happy, they're happy. It's just a pure emotion. Um, Another thing is the limitations that people want to put on people with disabilities when they see my kids with Down syndrome. A lot of times they it's called they infantilize them, so they talk to them as if they're little toddlers and children when they are totally capable for um, understanding what they topics, and well, just talk to them like they're individuals and like the age that they are. um, and then another thing is that they will always need assistance, and that's not true. When I first was pregnant with Jillian, my 12-year-old, that was one thing that popped into my mind. Well, I'll never have empty nest syndrome. And the more I get to know her at 12 years old, she's not going to be living with me. She doesn't want to live with me forever, and she wants to be her own person. So there's that. So, um, and to see past the physical attributes. Down syndrome. A lot of people don't aren't familiar. They haven't had a relationship with someone with Down syndrome, so they don't know what to expect. And each person is an individual. Ben and Jillian are very different people. Jillian is more of an introvert, loves to read, loves to care for people. Ben is just out there and in your face and active, and he doesn't give anybody the opportunity to be uncomfortable with Down syndrome. He just comes right up and wins people over right away. So they're just two very different individuals. So, with the advocacy part of my talk, the to be an advocate for my children is to help our community to grow in awareness through interaction with my child. So, in order to do that, I need to be willing as a parent for people to see my child and my family and my life so that they can see the similarities as well as the things that make us individuals. Um, and then I need to allow my child to be in public and not be so protective of them. It's really us as moms, we always want to protect our kids. We don't want them to go through, we don't want any of you guys to go through um, hard things. But it's even more of a challenge when you have someone that more than likely will be bullied in their life, because people will see them as weak, and so we want to protect them. Um, so I need to allow them to allow um, those around us to experience my children and risk that they might not be kind, but at the same time, the majority of the people are totally kind and totally want to get to know my kids and my family. Um, s- there's a word that is flies around our society nowadays, and that's diversity. We want our schools to be diverse, we want our churches to be diverse, we want jobs and life, our lives, our friends to be diverse and gather people around us that are different. And there's been which is all well and good. That's all wonderful. We want to include people. The thing is that there's a group of people that often are overlooked when it comes to diversity, and that's those with disabilities. It's easy to shove them aside. It's kind of a scary thing if you're not used to people who have a disability, whether it's a wheelchair or it's a cognitive disability, there or whatever, they're missing a limb. I don't know. It's really easy to be uncomfortable around that difference, and so we need to. I feel like I'm just scattered, but what I'm saying is we need to take the opportunity to allow that difference and that uncomfortable feeling to take root in our hearts so that we can feel safe. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, but but we need to allow uncomfortable things to be in our lives and differences so that we won't have that issue anymore. Um, and another thing is I ask and I expect my child to be and my family to be included in different aspects, whether it's at school or at a restaurant or at a holiday gathering or an event that's going on in our city. I expect that it's okay, that people should be okay with my family. If my daughter who has Rett syndrome and is nonverbal squeals um, or is rocking back and forth, or it's important that society just accepts her for who she is and um, doesn't expect us to hush her or to make her act the way everybody else does, because she's not going to act the way everybody else does, because she is gifted with different aspects in her chemistry, in her biological chemistry. So um, and then to at, to also accept that when somebody has a reaction that might rub me the wrong way, or has a reaction that that I'm uncomfortable with, to understand that mostly it's not because they are wanting to be mean um, or to be a bully or whatever. It's mostly they do this out of ignorance. They don't understand. And so it's important for me to take opportunities to help educate people and help people feel comfortable with my family and my children. Um, and then with that, I need to be extra supportive of those who are going out of their way to be inclusive. So when it comes to our school district, um, if they are well, our school district is very inclusive, and right now with schools shutting down, it's hard because my kids have different needs than other kids. Um, oh, geez, yeah, I kind of thought she was going to go start talking to me. Um, So, so I see it as my position when there is someone that's willing to step out and advocate for my children and to actually give my children what they need and what they deserve, as especially when it comes to education. It's my job to encourage that person and to or that group of people, and to give them um, as much support as I can. Another thing with advocacy is to educate those with influence, and whether it's a teacher, an educator, politicians, religious leaders, teens like you guys, celebrities. Anytime we have the opportunity to educate and advocate for our children, that I really think that that's important. Like I said, I mean, people are people. It doesn't matter what position you hold in life. You, we're all the same. We all come from the same place. We all have fears. We all have insecurities. We all have strengths. And excuse me. Um, um, and it doesn't matter where we are in life. There's just going to be things that. Sorry, I'm getting a cracker for the child. Um, we need to allow people to have those. I don't know how to put it. We need to be okay when people don't have the same experience as we do, and and again, help them, educate them, help them to be comfortable with with difference, and um, help them to be able to have the opportunity to get to know my child. Um, oh, my time's just about up. So I could I could talk a lot, and I'm sorry that this is so disjointed. I'm sorry that that I'm not all put together today. But the important thing is we are each individuals, and one thing that I've learned from my kids is that there is no one that's just like me. There is no one and never has been anyone that is just like Jillian or Ben or any of my other children or any of you, in fact. And so, with that, there's only one opportunity for someone like Jillian to touch the world, or for someone like Ben to leave his mark, or for someone like you to have the effect on society or your family or your school or anyone that's around you. You know, there's no one like you. There's no one like me, and there never will be, never has been. And so, as an advocate, it is important for me to show the individuality of my children and um, and accentuate their strengths while acknowledging their weaknesses. Um, and I'm just looking at my notes really quick. Um, and know that we all have purpose. You know, when it comes to Down syndrome, when it comes to Rett syndrome, when it comes to any disability, life is still life. We still experience the same things. Life for my children as adults is not going to be in a self-contained classroom where they are catered to. They're going to grow, they're going to live in a world that you live in. They're going to go to Target, they're going to go to McDonald's, they're going to go, you know, have all these interactions, and it's real world, and they have real individuals um, surrounding them. And so, as an advocate, as a mom, I wanna give everybody the opportunity to to be comfortable with those who are different than them. So when my child goes to the bank or goes to, the grocery store, that hopefully there's somebody behind that cash register or behind that partition that, will see them for who they are and not just for their physical attributes or their perceived um, disability. So I hope that this has helped. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Again, life is so crazy right now with the virus and with schools closing down, holidays, with getting three more children. Um, that I just really needed to take this opportunity to do this video because I promised I would, and I really want you guys to hear what it's like as a mom, and I want to encourage you to go out, get to know somebody who's different from you. It doesn't have to even be a disability; it can be just somebody culturally different from you. Um, but get comfortable and get to know each other, and get and go ahead and advocate for yourself and for your friends and for those who can't speak for themselves. Well, I hope you all have a good day. Thank you so much for listening to me. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.